Hello aviators and welcome to another episode of 5x5 from Bose Aviation. My name is Chris Palmer from angleofattack.com and I'm a master CFI and educator based in Homer, Alaska. In this 5x5 series, we're bringing you tips, tricks, and techniques for effective and safe radio communications. On this episode, the topic is radio call structure. With an increasingly busy national airspace system, it makes sense that we can't just get on the radio and say and do whatever we want. There is an official tone, structure, and professionalism that accompanies radio communications. ATC is a great example of this. They have a set way they conduct themselves on the radio, and as a result, they make few mistakes, and it increases safety and situational awareness. Of course, as pilots, we are on the other side of the conversation, so we play a large part in keeping the radio waves clean and professional. So we're going to break down a radio call into component parts. This radio call is typical of an initial radio call to ATC or a position report on a common frequency. And it's going to go in this order. First, the facility or area. Second, who. Third, where. And fourth, what. So facility, who, where, what. The core of this is the who you are, where you are, and what you are doing. Surrounding is the facility or area you're addressing. So let's see an example. If I say Homer traffic, Skyhawk, November 2423 uniform, 10 south, 3500, inbound landing, Homer. I've said everything I need to say. Now that might have been a little bit fast for you, so I'm going to break it down again little by little here. First, I started with the area I'm in this case, Homer, so no one gets confused on where I am. It's our way of identifying. I've said who I am with not only my tail number, but my aircraft type. That's important because the speed difference between a 172 and a King Air is quite large. I've said where I am, both in location and in altitude. Remember, as pilots, we operate in 3D space, so we need to give position in both lateral and vertical. I've said what I'm doing, which is inbound landing in this case, without going into too many more details. As we get closer, I can state pattern entry and other details. Lastly, I'll repeat my area. We do this just in case someone is unsure what area it was for. So if you've just reported final and there's a nearby airport with the same runway number and someone there just heard final and they just turned final, this can diffuse those worries and those situations because sometimes it's those words that pop up that you hear and that kind of sparks your mind into an alert. When dealing with ATC on a controlled frequency, things change a bit. ATC will tell you what to do under many circumstances, reducing the number of radio calls. They give you an instruction, you reply, comply, and wait for further instructions. No need to make repeated position reports, but you do need to make that initial call, which is much like the call that we just broke down. Another thing I do after my own initial call is reduce the length of my tail number. Instead of saying a mouthful of November 2423 uniform, I say Skyhawk 23 uniform after my initial call. The reduced syllables on the frequency leads to cleaner radio waves, and if someone on the frequency has a similar call sign, that might be a situation where I actually use the full call sign, but I do like to reduce it down. So this is just a very basic structure to radio calls. Sometimes you need to give fewer details, and other times you may add more information and length to the radio call, all in the name of safety and efficiency. The key here, again, is that whoever it is you're talking to, they know who you are, where you are, and what you are doing or what you want to do. It's that simple. So get that message across in one form or fashion, and you've done the majority of the important bits. As a final note, there's plenty of great information in the Aeronautical Information Manual, or AIM, on this topic, freely available from the FAA. Good luck making your radio calls more professional and structured. Thanks so much for joining in on another episode of 5x5. If you enjoyed this, consider sharing with a pilot friend. Also, don't miss the next episode by following and subscribing to both Bose Aviation and Angle of Attack. Once again, I'm your instructor, Chris Palmer from angleofattack.com. It's been my pleasure to teach you today. Fly safe, and until next time, throttle on.